On Fanalysis, we take the analytics used in fantasy football and incorporate those into the latest betting trends to find out where the smart money is landing. So let's bring in the lead betting analyst from Pickswise, Jared Smith. And Jared, we're talking teasers because teasers allow you to move the line in your favor, but you must play 2 games or maybe more. But let's start with this, the Jets and the Bengals. You're going with the Bengals in one and the Steelers in the other one. Let's start with that Jets-Bengals game at 10.5. All things point to a Cincinnati blowout. So what's the benefit of teasing it down?
Well, it's a low total game in the low 40s, which means those 6 points are worth more than, let's say, a game with a total of 55
Gotcha.
or, somewhere higher than that, because the percentage of the 6 points into the overall total of the game is significantly higher when the total is lower in the 40s. So I like to look at totals in the 45, 46 range, and I try to tease games with totals under that, and the Bengals certainly fits that category. And the reason why I also incredibly like the Bengals in this spot is just because I think the defensive matchup really favors Cincinnati. We all know about Joe Burrow. I'm not going to go crazy about how good he's been because we've all seen it with our own eyes. Something we haven't maybe seen with our own eyes is just how good the Bengals defense is. It's a little more under the radar. Their analytics are a lot stronger than maybe you would perceive because we think of the Bengals as an offensive team with Burrow and all the weapons. We don't immediately gravitate our brain towards defense, but their defense is playing just as good, efficiency-wise, better than their offense is this year. And on the other side, the Jets, Mike White's situation is very dire. I would be a little bit more encouraged to take 10.5 points with the Jets if they had a bit of a running game to help out Mike White with this week, but they're the worst running team in all of football. Yeah. So no running game, good defense for Cincy, and then, oh, by the way, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and then all the other dudes that are making crazy plays for the Bengals. This feels like a spot where Cincy can win by 20 or more. If you're going to tease it down to under a touchdown, prime spot to get the Bengals in a low total game. And then speaking of low total games, the Steelers, again, low 40s. You've got quarterback issues. We don't know who's going to play for the Browns, even if it is Baker Mayfield. Tell me that I get the Steelers to almost 10 points. Mike Tomlin, who was the best ATS coach in the league in the last 30 years as an underdog. I think Cleveland winning this game by double digits is a far stretch. So you get to pair Cincy and Pittsburgh together. I think that's a really good teaser.
And when you take a deeper dive into that, Cleveland really only has one convincing win this whole year, and it was against the Bears. Pittsburgh has lost to the Bengals, the Raiders, the Packers. Those are some good teams that they lost to here. Are they better than their record, or right now is Pittsburgh just healthier than maybe what their record might suggest?
Their defense, I think, is playing better than people think, or maybe their record indicates. But obviously, it's Ben Roethlisberger, and I think when you look at this game, to me, it's the running backs on both teams. I think Cleveland's getting a little healthier in that area. I think Pittsburgh actually, I know the stats might not back it up, but they got weapons, and it's just a matter of putting them in the right place. Eventually, I think Pittsburgh is going to play one of those games where Big Ben reminds you how good he is. I'm not saying it's going to be this week, but I think he's got a few bullets left in the chamber, and I think he has certainly enough left in the tank to keep this game within double figures.
He might not be as good as he once was, but he might be as good once as he ever was, as they might say. You really have become a little bit of a teaser guru. This year, you've won 8 of 10 teasers. This has become like your specialty. Most, by the way, would have won straight up on parlays, if I might go ahead and add that little feather in your cap.
That would have been awesome.
So for your second teaser, you're going to use the Bengals again, but who are you pairing them with this time?
Yeah, and I think the first thing I'll say is there is a strategy involved with which teams you pick and put into your teasers. If I had to rank them this week, Bengals down to a field goal would be number 1. Pittsburgh would be number 2. I think the Colts would be 3rd, and the only reason why they're 3rd is because this total is slightly elevated, high 40s. So, again, it's a good teaser spot, especially if the Colts are a pick'em or 1 and you get to move it to 7, but it's not as good of a teaser spot as the Bengals and the Steelers. So I will caution bettors if they are, if they only want to bet 1 teaser this week, I think Bengals-Steelers would be the way to go. But listen, when you look at this Colts game, we've seen this line cross 0 twice already this week. The Sharps haven't really made up their mind. line. Tennessee +1, Colts +1. That's kind of been where things have been fluctuating. So you actually could tease both spots if you get lucky and you catch the market right. Tennessee to +7, Colts to +7, and then you hope it's just a close game. On paper, Indy continues to be a team the Sharps love. Their defense is strong, it's firm, and they can run the ball. They're well coached with Frank Reich. I've seen the market move in the Colts direction almost every single week. So if, for future Colts games, if you like Indy, bet them early because the Sharps bet them early and it'll move the market in their direction. So I think this Colts team going up against the Titans, don't get me wrong, Tennessee's got two of the best wins on paper this year against the Bills and the Chiefs, but they also lost to the Jets, and they're negative in net yards per play. Their defense is still bottom 10, and Ryan Tannehill regression, it's starting to happen. This is his lowest QBR in his 3 years as a starter in Tennessee. He was I remember 2 years ago when we started doing these segments, that was the rage. How good is Ryan Tannehill? Well, kind of drifted back to the pack a little bit in his third year as the Titans starter. Makes sense, no Arthur Smith as OC, but I think Tennessee is just a little vulnerable after those two really big wins. I could see some letdown here, and I think the Colts, I think they win this game outright at home. They need to win it if they want to win the AFC South and want any chance to still win that division. I think this is an urgency spot for Indy. If you're getting a full touchdown, really good teaser number. Just
how are they going to be able to stop Derrick Henry? The Colts have always had problems with big, heavy loads at running back. But hey, listen, finally, I don't want to let you go without asking you about the Giants because the Giants are 10-point dogs in KC against the Chiefs. You aren't playing this one, but you're leaning in one direction here, right?
Yeah, really scary to fade Patrick Mahomes and to continuously fade him. But you're doing pretty good against the number if you faded Patrick Mahomes every week. So I think in general, I do look at this Kansas City team, and I think there will be some positive regression at some point. I actually think this is the week, if you like playing the futures market, I do. It's one of my favorite markets to play in. You're getting the Chiefs at 16-1. Which is, they were 5-1 as the favorites preseason. So the market's moved to the point now where they are willing to give you an opportunity to buy low on Kansas City. This is the first time we've really seen the market significantly move against
And it's about to move up after what they're going to do here this week.
Yeah, and if you do like Kansas City to cover this week, I would play the futures market instead because the back door is going to be open in this game. Daniel Jones has proven that he can go on the road and win tough games. They did it in New Orleans, and I don't think they're afraid of throwing the ball down the field and being aggressive. Now, of course, it's Daniel Jones. Anything can happen. He could throw 5 picks in this game, and we wouldn't blink an eye. But if you were going to ask me one game, point spread, 10, getting double digits against the Chiefs defense, to me, that's how I would play it. But I think the better play in this game is just to back the Chiefs in the futures market and hope Mahomes can find his way into the playoffs, and you'll have a very juicy ticket in your back pocket come January. 9
interceptions for Patrick Mahomes so far this year. I mean, that is not a Super Bowl champion make right there. But that's his teasers of the week. Make sure you see his top plays as well. For Jared Smith of Pickswise, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.